I've driven I-SHIFT before, several times actually, but it keeps getting better. This time was to test Volvo's new XE13 downspeeding package. But while I was in town, I wanted to experience the full, stress-relieving benefits of I-SHIFT by doing a little city driving. Who wants to go up and down through all the gears each time you come to a traffic light? Join me now as I take a shift-free tour through the outskirts of Greensboro, North Carolina in an I-SHIFT equipped and very nicely appointed Volvo VN780. Traffic on the industrial west side of Greensboro isn't that bad, but there are lots of stoplights and winding roads. It's hard to maintain a steady speed under those conditions. While this third-generation I-SHIFT worked its magic, I was free to focus on street signs and negotiating turns. That improves safety and reduces driver stress and aggravation. Driving in economy mode, I-SHIFT changes gears at low RPM so the ride is quiet and smooth. It saves fuel as well. Revving the engine higher than necessary in a stop-and-go environment just wastes a ton of fuel. It downshifts in most gears too while decelerating, and the automatic application of the engine brake helps a bit with brake wear. I-SHIFT knows which gear to start in and only uses the gears it needs. I often found it skip shifting as long as I wasn't too hard on the throttle pedal. But don't get the wrong impression, I-SHIFT isn't lazy. When you need get up and go, you've got it. I was impressed by the way I-SHIFT handles itself in the city, but the clincher was a little performance test we did on a hill not far from Volvo headquarters. While I was arranging the trip down here to put the XE through its paces, Ed Saxman was telling me how he'd put various drivers up against the I-SHIFT's shifting prowess. He told me no one had ever beaten the thing. Naturally, I took that as a direct challenge and decided to go head-to-head against the I-SHIFT. Starting from a dead stop, I'd put my foot right into it, making a sharp 90-degree right turn and then head up a slight 2% grade. The finish line was a hydrant just over the crest of a hill. I'd run the course 3 times, once using I-SHIFT's economy mode, once using its performance mode, and finally, I took my turn against the clock in manual mode where I controlled the shift points. Now we're in econo mode. 3, 2, 1, go. I-SHIFT's economy mode is designed to reach the highest, most efficient gear as quickly as possible, using the fewest number of gear changes for best possible fuel economy. Under the full power demand in our challenge, I went from 1st to 4th and 4th to 6th, shifting at about 1700 RPM, and then single shifted 7th, 8th, and 9th at about 1300. Go to the fire hydrant, sign behind it. I crossed the finish line in 9th gear. Stop. Okay, this is performance mode. 3, 2, 1, go. In performance mode, I-SHIFT will take advantage of all the horsepower the engine has to offer. Here, it shifted from 1st to 3rd and then 3rd to 5th at 2000 RPM. It then single shifted 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th at 1900 RPM on each shift. Once again, it crossed the finish line in 8th gear. I am bound and determined that despite Ed Saxman's protestations, no driver has ever outperformed the econo mode. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to see that happen. 3, 2, 1, go. Using what I thought was the best shift timing for optimal performance, my run in manual mode was closer to what I-SHIFT did in performance mode. I tried unsuccessfully to keep the revs down below 1500 as I single shifted from 2nd to 5th. I was actually closer to 2000 RPM each time. I did manage to skip from 5th to 7th, and I too carried the hill in 8th gear. Stop. Well, man versus machine. Mark versus the computer. Not too sure how he did. We took a couple of tries at it. I know it's going to be close, but we're not going to know for sure until we check the timing on that one. Interesting challenge though. Let's see how we did. I did watch the tape after we'd run all 3 modes. It was interesting, but too close to call. Let's watch. So there you have it. I couldn't touch I-SHIFT in performance mode. The best I could do was tie economy mode for time, but based on engine revs, it would have crushed me in fuel consumption. And I have to admit, I could never shift a manual transmission that fast or that precisely. I-SHIFT wins there, hands down. What this little test illustrates is that while performance mode will get you up to speed faster, the extra fuel you burn would hardly be worth it. In part 2 of our test drive, I take this Volvo 780 out onto I-40 between Greensboro and Raleigh to check out its new XE13 downspeeding package. Ed told me about a 3% grade out there he thought would be ideal to illustrate how XE uses 1,750 pound-feet of torque to keep engine revs down while pulling a hill at cruising speed. Don't miss it.